do you guys feel about Nimble Sunfish?
I think it's probably the same as like any other level 2 vanilla.
Hey, actually, the level 6 guy is not that bad.
Being
It's
able
a
to use the
Panther
angler
Claw.
bunch is sick.
But also
All
drawing
right, we want to do an
Sunfish
intro.
Angler
We
is
should.
pretty bad.
Welcome to Get Good.
Well, howdy.
Howdy, fellers.
We got the whole crew
Yeehaw.
here. And by the whole crew, I mean like a quarter of the crew, like a fourth, a sliver. But as many as we can fit on the table. We got Lou, me, Fox, the king of Atlanta. We got Dalton, Chris, and we got Logan. Got
Old
everybody.
cricket.
Mold Cricket Gang.
No cricket.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's happened. We've had some tournaments.
Yes.
We've
One in
been
particular.
to Vegas. We've been to Atlanta, the biggest Atlanta regional ever. Won
did go to that. We
it,
did
won
do
it,
that.
baby. We're going to LA in a couple of weeks, and so it's going to be an event-filled couple of months. It's been fun.
Yeah, I want to highlight Vegas. It was
Yes,
crazy. We had a bunch of us very close to the Glory Land. We did not make it. Tavion was able to acquire 2 prize cards through side events, which is actually insane.
Goo brought home 2 prize cards. We said we were going to bring home 4, but we brought home 2.
Oh, that's close enough, right?
It's half. It's only half as good as we want it to be, but it's all right. Vegas was fun. We, like, all of our teams bubbled, basically. But it was fun. Atlanta was crazy.
It was
Got
crazy.
First place, Atlanta, round 8 or round 9 in Atlanta. We had people at table 1, 3, and 4.
Should have had somebody at table 2.
Yeah, amen.
But I
Amen.
suck.
But
Up until like the last couple rounds, though, we had a lot of the good boys go very deep in this tournament. The tournament was crazy, dude. It didn't start until way late in the
It
day.
was like 12:30.
Also had a lunch break
it was
and was
insane.
9 rounds. So I was like 10 something before we
Yeah.
were filling out paperwork. It was
Yeah, I think all
It
of
was
us
very late.
went like 5 or 6-0. I think every single Goo member went 5-0 or 6-0. It was a good start to the event.
good boys was tearing it up.
I didn't show up to that event.
Thank you, Logan.
You know,
Thank you.
felt like I had to let my offspring, win with my deck.
With the Beast Warrior, Wing Beast Boys rise. Yeah,
Yeah.
Logan's deck is broken.
So far with that deck, the record is like combined with 4 tournament results is like 6 losses and like a million.
A
wins.
million wins.
27 wins.
A prize, another Verse Dragon, a regional was won. We've done a
Yeah,
lot.
so it went 6, and then how many rounds was the bye system? We played 7 because we had a 2-round bye.
Yeah.
PJ played
9.
9 rounds, so that's 14, 23. Tavion played 4, so that's 27, and then you went
9-0.
9-0.
So that's 36.
36 and 6 is the record for the
That's
deck.
a lot.
Split up amongst a few duelists.
Yeah.
With some dubs in between. So that's pretty tight.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
So if
deck's
you guys
actually
haven't
crazy.
checked out the Tri-Sprite deck by now, you're sleeping on it. The deck's insane. It has a really, really good Kashatira matchup.
Oh, it
It
feels so
does.
powerful.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
really
does.
like a chef just cooking them against the Cashier deck. Brand's a little spooky, but ain't no hill for a climber. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Speaking of decks, this format, this format seems very wide.
I love
About
that.
about any deck I think can win right now.
Just look
what
at
deck,
it.
What deck are y'all loving that's not the Tri-Sprite deck?
I've recently become a Trap Tricks duelist.
Traptrick cards are sick.
I have never been one to set 5, set 4 pass, but I did it against Deskins just now. And
And I
was probably
cooked him.
Yeah, he did. He did. And that was that was probably the worst hand that I've opened in the deck because it was all trap cards.
That's why
Unfortunately,
you played enough to open
having
it
to
up.
open monsters in my trap deck is a little new territory for me. So.
That deck is really cool. I personally just am really enjoying the Sprite cards. So I want to
See.
play like a Sprite deck that does not play Tri Brigades, but every time I take the Tri Brigades out of my deck, I feel like my deck's just worse. So
See, I got so
Logan's got me
burnt out
spoiled.
on summoning Sprite Blue because I've been doing it since like release, basically. Because I
yeah.
refused to play Tarot until like the last 2 weeks before it got banned. So I'm a little burnt out on summoning old Sprite Blue.
Sprite Blau is in my heart forever.
Sprite Blau.
This format's just like I love formats like this where like any deck, basically anything can compete.
Luke's been cooking with some Kashatira.
Yeah, dude.
Anything can compete. Plays the
the
Meta.
most competitive deck.
Yeah.
Well, so like another thing too is the decks that can compete are freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like the Dark World deck, we've got we have Trap Tricks and Dark World as starter decks that are playable. We have the Naturia deck, which is super sick. The Runic cards can be splashed on all kinds of different decks. There's still uncharted territory with tier decks. We have, dude.
I
The
think
list goes on and on and on and on, and
Don't-
I'm sure there's plenty of undiscovered decks.
Don't you guys worry. We're cooking.
hey,
We gotta conceal the information, but just
Secret weapon.
secret weapon.
I
You gotta,
did get top 4 in an OTS with tier element, but that list will not be released until after LA.
so
Let's go.
One of-
Sneaky.
you gotta subscribe for that content. Be ready for it. It's coming.
you don't actually have to subscribe for it, but you should.
You probably should.
Well, if you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, all I'm saying is you'll be notified when it releases.
He's trying to get hired on full time.
Full time. No, I was here from the start.
I'm an OG. What are you talking about?
Here from the start and still not full time.
Daggum.
Boy. But one of the dudes who went to Atlanta with us got his invite. He's only been playing for like a couple of months. Got his invite with blind going second Fluandries.
Oh, Thomas.
Yes,
Thomas.
sir.
Old Thomas
Yes,
loves the
sir.
man, loves the
So
man.
that was pretty crazy. Like anything can compete. It's
I
insane.
had the honor of going ahead, not even sitting down and signing my name on the slip for him and handing it to him. He gave me a big old hug,
Let's
and
go.
then we got in there. So
Let's go. Yeah, his Thunder deck was really cool. He was he's working really hard on that. He's been putting a lot of time in general, trying to be a beast of a duelist.
Yeah.
Trying to whip up on him.
Right. But it's cool. It's cool.
I played Sword Soul at Atlanta, and I feel like if I played a different deck, I probably would have topped because I did really well
You
with
went
that
really
deck.
deep with the Sword Soul
Yeah,
deck.
I did
though,
really
yeah.
well with that deck, but my deck was just not powerful.
Yeah, it was like round 8 or something, and I was like, holy crap, there's like 4 of us that are about to top this thing.
my deck. I lost out round 8 due to a misplay, so I should have 2-0'd that guy, but I'm stupid.
Silly head.
So
Silly dueler.
it was also like 9 o'clock in the day, and I hadn't slept the night before, so.
Dude,
Um,
it was real how tired I was.
but I probably would have done a lot better with a more potent deck.
I mean, even if you think about this, like Sword Soul is a deck from like a long format ago.
Yeah.
It's still, I don't think
It can compete
It can
because it can play non-engine
It
cards.
came out in like November 21, didn't it? It's like a,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what-
that's 2 numbers ago, bro. That's an old
it
deck.
is 2 numbers ago. The problem with the deck is when you don't draw non-engine, your engine is just worse than everybody else's. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you relied on like Graveyard of Law special with like you get Rise Heart here.
Yeah, I played against one Castira player, and I ashed him twice, and he passed. So
Let's go. Super
I ashed him game 1, and he passed, and I ashed him game 2, and he passed. So that was pretty cool.
Feels bad.
Ash
So
Blossom has been.
you're on the Trap Trick deck. You said you like it a lot.
enjoying
Deskins,
it so
what
far.
deck do you? What are you enjoying right now?
So like he said, we've been cooking with the tier limit deck. I think it's a lot of fun. Still needs some work, but the Castira cards are pretty cool too. I like how they interact with each other.
Castira cards. Castira to me is like a bigger, like slightly more powerful version of Fluandries.
Yeah, they
Like
are.
it's basically 1 to 2 card starters, like a ton of them in the deck that just like get you to this big board or like to pick apart boards. But then you can just brick out of your mind. Like you can just draw nothing.
There's also a really weird dynamic going on right now where people are either doing their lock combo,
Yep.
or they're just ending on a rise heart. So
And you
like,
never really
I love
know
the
which one.
diversity,
Which
bro.
one is
I
that?
love it.
so
I love
like
wondering what
Nib
my
is
opponent's
like
gonna do.
weird. Lava Golem's weird. It's-
you know
it's-
who's tried and true?
Old Gamma Seal.
That's all I'm saying. And Naturia Mole Cricket, which is the deck kind of
So you like tributing, it sounds like.
Mole
yeah,
Cricket game.
Mole Cricket's really cool. I really enjoy the Naturia cards and the Runic cards, specifically the Runic cards because they remind me of the best deck of all time, which is Sky Striker.
Yes.
Had the most
Oh,
wise ass win, right?
Yep. And I think that where everyone's just kind of doing a bunch of different stuff, I really like having like these really like efficient cards that just trade into their board that gain me more advantage.
You've got some more reliable built into it.
Yeah,
That's always
I
nice
like
in a
that.
wide open
You know, MST,
format.
you know, it always pops the spell or trap card.
Amen.
You
It
know?
always does what it's
Yeah.
supposed to do, man.
You know,
It only
doesn't-
occasionally negates it.
Yeah, you know, like it usually negates them because most the spell or trap cards you care about are face up, like field spells and Birth. You know?
Birth's godly, bro. Every time I'm crunching numbers playing against that deck, I'm like, man, if I got Birth, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
If I make this play, what happens? I lose to Birth. All right, continue.
Birth's
Birth is just a
insane.
hell of a card.
That's the flow chart, bro. Do the lose to Birth? Yes. Don't
Yes.
do it.
So, Fox,
Yeah. Howdy.
if you had to pick a deck that's not obviously the deck you just won with,
Yeah.
what deck are you eyeballing right now?
Man, so I want to use Therion cards to some capacity. I think
Okay.
Sargus is super sick. The Spriggans deck has my eye because Tally-Ho is a custom card. Like, that's super tight. Some kind of like punk strategy where I'm, using Sargus, using like Lily, using Regulus. I would like to cobble that together. I think big monsters, if I can get bigger than the Kashtira monsters and just do something like menacing, I think that's like a good spot in the format. Also, my soft spot for dinosaurs showing. I think I would love to conductor people.
I think that deck's slept
Listen,
I think
I
that
could
deck's
murder
slept
some
on
people,
right
bro.
now. Honestly,
we have a lot more support. They just released some new dinosaur card in the next set of OCG. We haven't even read it yet.
Dude, yeah.
I know one of the card was like a new Punker top.
Oh, speaking of Pankratops, boy, that card's good. Damn, that card's... Excuse my language. That
Guud,
card's
if you're
good.
listening, I'm
Rest,
sorry.
rest in peace, Guud, bro.
Rest in peace,
That's
Guud.
my brother. My brother in duel.
Wouldn't have happened to him if he was summoned to Mole Cricket, is all I'm saying.
As a matter of fact,
I mean, I don't know how Mole Cricket stops that.
evenly
but
Pankratops, baby.
I'm
Let's
sure there's something
go.
you can do in the deck to stop it, you know?
God.
We made fun
Flower
of Gage
stops
the
it.
whole way
Flower
home.
does
Literally,
stop it.
you cut his deck the wrong place, Gage. That's all it was.
Gave me the Pankratops,
Gave
the
me
FTK,
and the
bro.
evenly.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I did also have evenly. God. Pankratops felt very powerful.
Well, Luke, something besides Kashtira, which we've already seen a few deck profiles from you about.
Mr. Winner.
Actually, I think
Winner.
one.
You're a crusher.
Yep.
So what other decks got your eyes? You think about playing something else
He's
for a
told
minute, or
he's
you
told
just,
me about some spice.
Bruh.
He said, bro.
Are we pulling out the birds? Is that are we
Caw-caw.
snapping people?
Listen,
Caw-caw.
listen. It's bad because people are playing hand traps more frequently now. But you open 2 cards and you can end on imping and then loop 3 cards out of your opponent's hand, which is pretty cool in birds.
I ain't a
Cards?
chef, but
Yeah.
it sounds like Luke's cooking.
Yes, sir.
I don't
So
know, man.
Someone else
listen.
at this table likes looping cards.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm just saying.
I thought this was a nice, wholesome,
You're on
well-rounded
the wrong
format.
side of the table. I think
I mean, looking
Couple demons.
The third part of this Dark World deck is not even looking card. Like, I'm a person that likes to go second crack board with big monsters.
He looped me
Danger
for
be
4
machine
when we
gunning
were
people.
playing earlier, and I beat him.
Yeah, he beat me because my hand was bad. Very bad.
Bro, my deck got enough one-card combos, bro. you leave me with 2, I might still be cooking. I don't know.
Yes, sir. That
We
unicorn.
were play OTS. We were
No cricket.
we were play OTS celebration thing when CM hoped for us. I was playing Dark World. I let it break through with engine like 3-7 interruption board. This deck is just like the best going second engine deck, I think. Like their monsters are big. You have infinite extender. As much as they don't randomly select your danger.
My comment about wanting to be bigger than a Kashtira deck and do something formidable, that deck seems to do that as well. They get big, massive Mamajamas.
Yeah,
Take
if
some
you have
cards out of their hand.
you've a gate on board,
Eat
all
my
your
droll.
monsters are like 3,300 attack.
Those are Mac Daddies, bro.
the only problem with that deck, I think, is like
Price art.
when you're playing it through like a long amount, like a huge tournament. Like, not only can variance get you, but misplays can get you really easily
Yes.
as well. So, like, you have to play really tight when you're playing a deck like that.
The
I
deck
agree.
is not easy to play because it's not a straight line. It's one hand based deck. But
I used to love decks like that.
I just misplay a couple times, but this deck I really like this deck. I just like the ability of this deck going second crack board. That's my favorite part.
The machine gunning of
Yeah,
Sudoku
hand
is
loop.
pretty sick.
Hand loop.
He said, "Put it back."
Mill-based decks. You got the two elements.
Man, I want to sprint Merly really bad. I don't know what deck. The Runic Sprint Merly, I think that's pretty cool.
Sprint Merly is
That happened to
pretty
me at the
cool.
regional, and I was like, man, it's pretty tight actually. Okay, you set that up. I had to deal with the Dragos Depalia. My big man Majamas. It was not good. I had to deal with the Sprint as well. That's the scary part, when the Sprint is actually a bounce.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your free dude became a trap card.
A lot of people forget sprint bounce all the
Dude,
time.
I had to turn one off with a Pit Knight early. And I felt like a G when it happened because I was like, I can check. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. We're good.
Definitely did that at locals the other day. Just bounced a sprint, and they were like, "Wait a second."
Pit
Midnight's busted, bro.
Yeah, Pit
Midnight's
like
insane.
deceivingly
Midnight's
really
insane.
powerful right now. Like we're playing in the YCS last round against Chris's team, and Fox had a match against Hoban that we unfortunately missed this play, but he dealt with he dealt with the IP because I can't remember what happened. Somehow the IP got taken or something.
I think he tried
And
to.
he attacked over it. We just let him attack over is what it
yeah.
was. And so we
Guardian
had
Roar.
Pit Knight, and he summoned Dark in the Pit Knight zone. Like, not thinking, but like, if he activates the Dark effect, the Pit Knight just negates it.
Yeah, so you can set up a Pit Knight to where, okay, you go to your EMZ, like, you cannot use a Link Monster. Like, you can just lock them out of
That's sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which...
And cool, and like, Pit Knight has like another hidden ability that people just don't know about. Like, if they beat over it by battle, it just comes back.
It kept coming
bro.
back.
You can't, like, my board can lose, battle my IP, battle my Pit Knight, it's just going to come back. And again, like, you can do your combos where you put, like, the IP over and, like, EMZ over here, and then you point to zone 3, and you specifically put your Pit Knight in their other zone to turn their stuff off. So you still have, like, you can keep them off of that, but you still figure your IP with a sprite card, like, make an
Yeah,
hours
like if
or
you play against a
whatever.
Runic deck, that's like a serious
Cuts
like
them out.
line because you can like summon the IP up here and then summon the Pit Knight to point to the next EMZ, and they have to summon their Hugin here.
That's where
You
they're
know,
at, bro.
that's the only place
That's
they
where
can
they're
summon.
at.
That's where they're
That's
at.
that's Hugin, bro. It's getting cooked.
And just
Pit
negates
Knight.
Hugin every time.
Every single time, exactly.
I think Pit Knight is one of the most underrated cards in current form.
Yeah, it'd be a
It
TCG
just- it
exclusive,
just-
man. I think
Yeah.
it's very looked over because it did not have like
It's a common.
Blueberry
It's a
yet.
common,
Exactly,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It came
It's a
when we got
TCG
Tear Element. It
TCG
came when we got
exclusive,
Sprite.
so.
Exactly. It came at a weird time in Yu-Gi-Oh. So
It
Yeah.
did.
I think the more people that card has played, more people will play it.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that card play though.
He's sick, sicko mode, bro. Little Earl.
Yeah, people that don't even realize like,
Well,
oh, this card just negates the effect and then attacks into your monster, and you're like, okay, anything for damage,
You know, like,
you just take damage.
You just
like,
get cooked.
ground
Yeah.
zero, like,
Yeah.
Trade your
that
monster.
literally happened against us against Pat's team.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Pat summoned Unicorn. We did the IP turn into Apollo, and then Pat said enter battle phase. We said sure, and he attacked, and we're like, okay, you take damage.
You're
Like, I mean, they
dead
just
eyes.
have, like even the best players that happens to because like you know through a 9 to 10 round event. You know,
It's
you do
hard.
get exhausted. You
Yeah.
You have to reach
Yeah,
stuff
dude.
fast.
Oh, let
because
me
of
tell
time.
you.
Absolutely.
Well, it's also get you sometimes like kind of focusing on the card to read every single detail of it.
Yeah, and he also works really weird, right? Like, because his effect only comes up when something else happens. So, but by the time his effect is coming up, a lot of times 2 or 3 other things are already happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now I'm gonna slip this Pit Knight in there real quick. like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another thing. It's similar to like the Nishiria deck, right? Is like Camellia, you know, she has this effect, but also she does this, but also she has this random effect that are reborn this,
Yep.
and you're like,
all
okay,
the
that's just a
custom
reborn.
cardness about it,
But
right?
like you were born, like for example, Mole Cricket, and then Mole Cricket can just summon something else from the deck that could turn into Sunflower, which is a negate.
exactly.
Ball
Ball
you know,
keeps
it's a
rolling,
lot
ball
of,
keeps
like,
rolling.
One,
oh,
two,
your board
three.
doesn't do anything. All it is Camellia, Mole Cricket, pass, and then you're like, oh wait, this is just like a million interaction points
Yeah.
and like a couple bodies.
It's also, this format's kind of different than we've seen, like, in recent history because everything is reactive. Like the Pit Knight, like the entire Kashtira deck. Like, it's like a lot of cards and the whole Kashtira deck only works when your opponent does things. And it's just interesting.
That's
Like,
true.
it's an
We don't have a
interesting
lot of
format.
Omni negates. We have a lot of cards that interact once they do something.
Yeah, which is
Dealing with
interesting.
what's on the board too is another like interesting thing to me.
I
is,
do
like,
hope they get away from Omni negates though. I think Omni negates are pretty bad in general for Yu-Gi-Oh.
I
I do
think-
like cards like
yes.
Baron because I think it's neat that like Baron's an Omni negate, but it's only once.
Yeah.
Like I think like cards that just are Omni negates every single turn are just really bad for the game in general.
I think
Especially
Savage
like-
was a card that like looked on paper like it was just going to be like a card like that because you did the link counters you only had to get so many times, but that card you get 3 link counters, 3 negates. The game closes out fast enough that is an on negate every single turn, right?
See, also another point is like, especially with cards that has Omni Negate and Destroy moving a ball, those type of cards are like super hard to deal with most of the time. I can't find a good example. Oh, Griffin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like if you don't out that Faithful, it's guaranteed that Griffin is coming back every turn.
oh yeah.
I mean,
They
like, look-
got some inevitability.
Like
there.
just look like last year around Nats, you know, a lot of people were playing these Brave decks, and you know, Brave board breakers were just generally pretty poor against them. You know,
Yeah.
evenly matched, not that good. There's so many Omni negates.
Yeah,
But
you had to
now,
eat all
like
your
evenly
cards.
matched is just a God card because no deck can negate it. Hardly.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
even
It's
matches
just
the God
crazy.
card, bro.
Like that's one reason I think the Sprite deck's so strong is because it can answer like whatever your opponent's trying to do, but it has to do it with specific cards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it has to get Carrot to stop evenly, or it has to get red to negate Nibiru.
Make conscious decisions to.
Speaking
Yeah.
of cards that are not fun to play against, Scythe is gone, but we do have a card called Gimmick Puppet.
I really hope Gimmick Puck is not in this format because I think the card is unfair.
It's not very
lack
fun.
it really lack interaction with your opponent. They later shut down your
Yeah.
turn.
I'd rather play against Omni Negates than that.
I'd rather play
Oh,
Luke
God,
4.
bro.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it doesn't activate. There's no real way to counter it reliably because good players will just banish their Gimmick Puppet.
That's my issue, man. I can side whatever. I can open the out, but then it's not actually the out. It's just not. I have to deal with the out.
and then you have to hope to draw Ash Blossom, and then hope that they don't have a way to stop Ash Blossom, right?
Yep,
You know?
exactly. Things just have to go right for you, man. If I'm playing against Dirtle Bob, who's flipping the cards, I get it. It's probably gonna be enough. But against the players that you really need to, every card you got to count against, everything just falls short.
One
man.
of our bosses, and this team top, I'm not gonna say who, but 'cause I'm not trying to flame them.
No, ain't a thing.
But what happened was in my match, I got Gimmick Puppet game 3 against the Despia player. He Gimmick Puppet me in one game 3 times, and I still almost won the game.
I feel like I'm by my teeth, bro. As long as I got life points, I can find a way. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't dead, I'm in it.
I may have normal summon Jet twice and beat over his Aliber or whatever monster he had in defense twice, but somehow I kept living. And the only reason I ended up losing that game is because he deburied my Gigantic. I outed all of his interruptions finally and slammed a Gigantic. I'm like, okay, I have Beavers and Grave. I have I'm ready to cook.
Guns loaded,
And then
baby.
he deburied me. I was like, I couldn't stop the third Brandon fusion. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the thing is, the fact is, I felt like he played the match really bad, but I still lost because I got Gigantic.
Right.
Or not
you
Gigantic. I
got
got Gimmick Puppeted
Gimmick Puppet.
3 times.
When you can't get through, man, you can't get through.
In a format like this too, the non-Omni-Negate format, the play-through boards format, you get to see a lot of skill show through too.
Yeah, especially going in second.
Sequencing is very important.
Yeah.
Especially when they have Castiras, so it's you gotta know when to activate your monsters and stuff too. So it's cool.
And birth and prep too.
Yeah.
Do you want to activate this imperm because they're if they have prep up, right? There's
Yeah.
gonna rip a card from your hand.
Yeah,
you
bro.
know what I mean?
That's godly.
Yeah, but that just makes you think a lot playing against Cash for sure.
And then you play against a deck you play against. I'm just trying to think if you play against the Tri Sprite deck, it doesn't actually have it has a lot of interruptions, but they're manageable. You can play through it. It's just a lot to play through.
That's the thing about it, man. A lot to play through, and so I found myself just holding my interruptions as much as I could. You know what I'm saying? If I can wait, I'm gonna wait, because if I can get back to my turn with the card I got off of my revolt, any piece of follow up, something sticks on the board, I feel like it's very hard for me not to win the game.
Yeah. Something I thought that was cool against your guys, or cool about your guys' deck too, is people didn't really know what it did. So a lot of the interactions were kind of hidden.
Yeah, bro.
Because they see this board and they see IP. I mean, it's just what are they playing around? Because they don't really know what your cards do because nobody's playing that deck. So I thought that was cool too. Because the board doesn't seem too menacing until you start playing.
Then you start activating cards oh wow, this card just does not line up well against his board.
You
this
have
piece of
2
interaction
weak
does
fours on field.
Right, this piece of interaction does not line up very
They
well.
still have to deal with a Shuriken.
Exactly. And then next turn they got to do it again.
Yeah, when I was coming up, I was trying to figure out a deck to play for the format, and I was I'm either going to play Branded or I want to play a Sprite deck. I think Sprite cards are really
I
strong.
really wanted to play Branded before Logan put me onto this deck. That's
Yeah,
what
I came
set on.
I came up with the combo, and I tested Pit Knight, but not in actual games, right? So I ended up being oh, well, you don't actually need the Pit Knight because you just go Gigantic. You have a Sprine down here instead of the Pit Knight, and then you have the same board, right? But it ended up, if you actually played games with the deck and the Pit Knight making the monster 0, protecting your Apollo.
It was actually insane.
Yeah, it just kind of
the hidden effect was the best effect.
Yeah, so whenever we figured that out, and I figured out the combo, it was really easy to make the deck because we quickly realized, Fractal
Garbage.
not
I remember waking up, but guys, a Fractal just has to come out of my deck.
Fractal's just not good, We even at Vegas, I was trying to cut down the Tri-Brigade monsters, but we just didn't have enough time, man. We only had a week.
I really wish I would have not missed my flight. I wish I would have got to Vegas on time. I think my deck for that tournament would have been a lot better. But like, I mean, I've cut my Tri Brigades down as low as I can. I feel I'm happy with how this deck.
One thing I enjoy a lot about the Tri Sprite deck is generally I make really good decks for the first week of the format because I'm really good at figuring out like weaknesses and what everyone else is picking, and then I'm like, I can slide a deck in there and I can get a free top.
You get right in there, yeah.
But one thing I like about the Tri Sprite deck is I think I kind of realized the deck is just actually good. It's just one of the best decks in the format.
That's the issue I keep running into is I'm like, I feel like it was a flash in the pan. I just got lucky like 2 weeks in a row the deck being good, but like I keep playing it and I'm like, man, this deck actually is still like super well positioned. It's got really good feet. Against like the miscellaneous decks of the format, I feel like it's just Sprite cards are just better than the rest of the decks in the format. Shureg is just like some of the most godly interactions. So all I'm really trying to fight up against is like Lab, Branded, Cash. Cash matchup feels really good. Branded feels totally fine unless they expulsion me. That's when I'm like, man, this is this is hard to play through. And the Labyrinth deck, man, I don't know. It's good, but I don't believe in it like a lot of people do.
Yeah. I think the Labyrinth deck actually just struggles a lot with Sprite cards.
Yeah.
Just because like, yeah, they can debury you for Exceed, but you're still slamming Carrots, you're still slamming Reds, you're negating.
Exactly, bro.
They only have 3 ladies, right?
Exactly.
You're also like lane climbing, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Like you have more utility ways to play into a deep barrier. I think the card hurts the most, probably skill drain, but you do have an engine out against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the big thing for me is depending on how my draw lines up to their draw is the only time that deck is menacing. And I only feel like I'm unhappy with the matchup in the games where their draw that like just happens to be bananas, right? Like where,
skill drain,
where I have to open
big
Smashers
welcome.
plus Sprite Monsters, where I got to open it all for it to be.
You have to open evenly.
Where every deck has to open everything.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like I'm really happy I jammed evenly in the main deck of my deck. I think that was a good call. The Tri Brigades tucking cards away is bananas.
Yeah, that's why I chose to play Dark. Like I was
Ruler.
preaching Dark Ruler. Like, you guys were, you and Aaron both were telling me to play Book Eclipse. I'm like, no, I think Dark Ruler's the way, and it's just because like you have to put back a card anyways, and like is Ash Blossom or Book Eclipse better? Most of the time, it's Ash Blossom because you don't know if you're playing.
The book's going
Branded.
away anyway. So
Right.
you just want the busted card. You want the card that does the most when you do draw it when you're going second. And if you just jam your deck full of those, like,
And
feels good. We're in the right spot.
and also Dark Ruler is one of the hardest cards to play around. Like when me and Logan started testing the deck, we're like, we tried everything, and then a lot of time his book get Ash. I was like, we probably should try Dark Ruler, right?
Yeah, you just do some. You just do some for like 8 or 9 cards, and then you just start slamming cards. If they ask you gigantic, you're like, okay, I still have a red carrot. You
Like,
have no cards.
You still have to
Exactly.
use one card to play through like more than 2 interactions. Like Dark Ruler Zeus is a hell of combination all the time.
You can force a revolt through like any hand traps too. That's another thing too. Sometimes if you can get them to where they're hellbent after you discard an Ash, go through a nib, whatever they may be going through, and then you just get revolt anyway. And okay, you're top decking. I have a Shureg. My Shureg's giving me follow up, which is gonna be another Shureg. So if my one Shureg with a piece of follow up is not enough, then the follow up Shureg is going to cook you.
and the fact that
it's real.
Shureg can search Beaver, I think is real.
Literally,
Like,
it is the
That-
realest
yeah.
thing when you get to start your turn with Beaver, like, or you get to start like Karis at Beaver, and the game's going well.
I mean, like, literally Sharon by itself is a lethal because it's big, and they also give you a follow up. It's just insane. Like, it literally turns your entire deck out.
Yeah, dude.
so we talked a lot about the Tri Sprite deck.
Oh, yeah.
We all know it's good.
The best. I do
One
not
deck
like
that I played at the OTS, they had an OTS celebration for Guud, for how well we did at YCS Vegas, at Carmel.
Shout out CM Games.
CM Games.
Shout out to
Cedar
CM Games.
Bluff.
They're so good to us, man.
They really
Check
are.
out the store for sure if you're in the Tennessee area. They also have stores in Kentucky and all across the East Coast.
They also have online store.
Online
Check-
stores as
check
well.
it
Monster
out.
Games.
My
But we played the Trap Tricks deck at that event.
Yeah, we did.
And me and Tavion both played it. He learned the deck, not even really learned the deck. He read the cards like 10 minutes before the tournament.
We put
I
the-
had never played the deck before in my life. Never even played a game with it. And we both did like pretty decently well. Like I didn't watch any videos. I just kind of figured out the combos as I was going. The only thing I really lost to was like Feather Duster, evenly matched. Like both of them.
Godly.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, I think that deck has some legs. I think the deck's actually real.
Yeah, every time I see that, I watch somebody play it. Their cards line up really well against the format. Like Floodgate Trap Hole is actually
insane.
really, really, really good right now. And the dudes they put on the field are super sticky, man.
Yeah.
Like they
all have
create
hidden effects,
interactions.
too.
They have really
Yeah.
good effects. They replace themselves. They create follow up. Like they do what you want your
They're all
cards to
pretty
do.
big too.
Also,
Yeah, they're surprisingly large.
the hand
Also,
traps
they-
people play right now too are Ash, Nib, and Imperm. Imperm doesn't do anything. Nib, you can play around it.
with
So
the reflection.
yeah,
Yeah.
your best Ash target's Sarah when
Phil-
it's special.
Like, and then like if you're ashing Sarah, you're like, okay, my Sarah just discarded a card from your hand,
You're right.
and it's gonna have 2 more activations on your
Yup,
turn.
And,
So it's
yup.
and they're still
Yeah.
gonna set the trap. You know, it's-
Sarah is just like an absurd card.
Before we got all these new cards, I always thought that was one of my favorite Link ones to like summon, because when you're summoning that card, you were doing something obnoxious with it. But these new cards, man, they just make it trigger, bro. They make it trigger,
The
bro.
trap, the trap is the put the deck that actually playable. Like it-
Altea.
yeah.
Yeah, that
If
card
you don't have that card,
makes something proactive happen. It's sick.
Yeah.
It changed your like you have to have interaction pieces. Like your opponent has to do something to make your Sarah good, to you can proactively make your Sarah good and not rely on
Yeah.
drawing like Shade Brigadine or
Some
these
shit
weird
like
cards.
that. Exactly,
Yeah.
bro. I think
Like-
that is huge.
it turns down your Sarah on your own turn, man.
Okay, so we're on a little bit of a time crunch here. Our camera is dying. So,
Poor baby.
so we've talked about Vegas. We've talked about our current decks. Let's go to LA, because LA is the upcoming
It
event.
is the future,
Yeah,
baby.
it's-
It is
What,
the
3 weeks from now, we will be in LA. What do you guys think is gonna be like the deck for LA? I mean, I don't mean like cash. I don't mean branded. I don't mean.
Right.
I mean, maybe try Sprite, because I don't know like how played that is at the moment. But I think like, what is the deck that we're gonna see like that maybe we're not gonna be expecting, or like what do you guys think?
But I think by that time, Ancient Fairy will be legal. So I think there may be an Ancient Fairy deck of some kind. I think that there are punk cards. Somebody somewhere has a punk list that they have not yet
They got the
released. They got the goo. They're sitting on it.
I agree
and
with that.
I think
I
that
agree.
deck may.
Stardust
may
Excel comes out.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
card.
yeah.
That card is busted. There might be like this might be wild, but in OCG there's synchro deck that you can make the junk speeder, and with the Stardust Accelerate, you can make your junk speeder chain link 1, then accelerate Stardust, try to protect it, make it on effect by card effect. So it will guarantee goes through, and you can make a crazy.
I've been
board.
thinking about like a Brave deck.
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that because like the Brave engine actually like helps that deck a lot, because you get a 4 which helps you make speeder, and then you have a 3 that also helps you make speeder with Water Enchantress.
Yeah, if you think this way, Brave Indian by itself with Jet, it's full combo.
Yeah.
You later normal summon Jet, make a 5, make an 8. Like literally full combo. There's a deck in OCG like that. Especially we don't have Maxi here. We definitely can see some crazy combo deck with like that. I definitely think if up there, just people need to come out with like a crazy list.
Like I've been thinking about making a synchro deck. The only problem is I think it's where I don't have a lot of time to play. So like that's the reason I don't care to talk about it. I don't think I'll be playing it just because I don't have a lot of time to figure that stuff out. People watching may have more time, to figure it out, like a Brave synchro deck. Maybe using out Emancipator cards, leak that a little bit. Those cards are pretty good with the new level 8 synchro, but I definitely think a Brave deck is really strong with the synchro cards, because they just give
line
you
up
so
really
many
well,
different
man, yeah.
and they give you so many different levels. They just they're also just good going second cards, especially when people are just going a Rise Heart Pass.
Yeah.
Um,
Your Draco back licked it out there by itself.
yeah, like they have to banish Fateful, and if
Yeah.
you get a token that out their Rise Heart basically, and you can still play the rest of your hand,
It feels good. Yeah, getting the monster and dealing with like checking the Rise Heart off is really nice.
Yeah.
because they can't banish the token.
You have a normal summon yet? Like exactly. You're
Yeah.
already in a decent spot.
Yeah, especially we have 3 Jet, right?
Yeah, we just got it to
Yeah,
3.
we just get this.
Oh,
3.
Lion maybe.
When
I
do we
don't
get
know.
that tuner? The Assault Synchron or whatever?
Not for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
It comes out later this year before Nats.
Okay.
It came from the Battle Legend. It will be the first.
Oh, yeah.
So any
I
other
remember.
decks than the synchro decks you guys excited for?
I mean, that Dark World count.
Dude, Dark World Maid's a sweet one.
I think the problem is if you're really, really good at Dark World, this deck is actually insane. Like, you have to have a clear mind when you play this deck, like what line you're going for. Because this deck literally can do anything. later they can't do anything. Like it can like you get Bigfoot, you get like Cerberus out rise hard, like you get big monster that go for lethal, and then going first is just free win because none of the, especially drone is not really popular right now. Like later that you play, I play through imperm neb still loop 4 a lot of the time. Like it's just happening.
Yeah, I also think the Dark World deck, like, you have to be really adaptive, right? Like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
they hit your Nessie, okay, now what do I do? Or, like,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Nessie's a
Good-
bad example, but
good
like, let's say
on-the-fly decision
Chupacabra,
making.
Yes.
like, you have
Yeah.
to be able to, like, quickly decide because the deck does combo for a long time, so you will go into time. Like, it will happen.
Not on purpose. It's just like turn 1 takes like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
like,
insane.
like you
Yeah.
can full combo, and people won't scoop. Like, you know, you're going to loop 4 cards in their hand, in on 3 interruptions. It doesn't matter. People will not scoop. And, like, dangers take a while to resolve. You have to shuffle your hand. You probably have to roll the dice.
Every
They
single
pick
one,
the card. You
yeah.
summon. You draw. You
Yeah.
shuffle your hand. Do it again.
Yep.
Reevaluate.
You know, we
like-
know that from Danger Thunder days, right? Like that
Yeah.
deck went into time a lot because
Oh,
of
yeah.
that. I think I think that deck's really strong, but you just have to like
You have to
understand the deck well.
Yeah, you have to practice a lot with the deck because the deck is really, really easy to mess up. One mess up can cost you the entire game a lot of the time.
That's the case with a lot of decks. I mean, the Trice Ride deck is very
Yes.
similar. To that. Like,
You put one
One
guy in the
zone.
wrong
Yeah.
spot,
One
and you
zone,
get cooked,
yeah.
bro.
um,
Yeah.
This red in zone 5 is going to cost me the match.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta flip flop everything you're trying to do because
It-
you're summoning a guy in the wrong spot.
it's wild looking back like 5 years when nobody cared about zones at all, and to think that that will be the case right now.
Yeah, if I put my pendulum zones up
Yeah.
here, you know, I'm gonna summon
oh,
my
bro,
construct and
throwback
shuffle my
to
back
Cliff
row.
Fort Scout up in the top.
I
of
do
the
Yep,
that.
deck,
100%.
bro.
But I hate to cut it short, but like I said, our camera is dying. So, tell us what you think about your decks for LA. What's going to be the sleeper deck at LA?
It's definitely a wide
It's-
open.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting format. That's going to be the deck that wins LA. This man right here.
No.
Got the mole cricket. Got the mole
Yeah,
cricket.
the mole cricket, baby.
See, man. I
No,
don't
we have
know.
the Dark War. I can't even say this guy's name.
I have a level 1 too. You got level
Boy.
1.
We all have
That's
level
not
ones
one.
here.
What is that?
I got a level 2.
Weak. I got a lot of level 2s, boy.
I'm going to put this evenly matched right here.
Hey, you can't active this without this on
You're not
field.
about to evenly. Oh, bro, you have a Cerulli on your field. Get cooked,
can't active
bro.
that
I think he's the
evenly,
only one
man.
that has a clean out to it.
Thank you for watching this spin. Get good.